Hi guys, it is Exile5's Pig here, doing some interviews from the G3 Gfinity event. The first really big StarCraft 2 event we've seen in the UK since WCS in 2012. Joining me is Dario, Mr. Liquid TLO. He's unfortunately gone out 2-1 in the round of 8 of this tournament. He's had a very good showing, had some pretty cool builds. How are you feeling this tournament? How are you feeling at the moment about your performance?
In general, pretty good, but I'm quite upset about this. Quite angry about how I played against Jan, and I didn't really show my strength today against Bunny either. So I'm quite pissed actually.
Okay, it's one of those.
Mostly at myself, a little bit at my opponents maybe.
Yeah, and there was some pretty nasty builds thrown out against you, especially like Hyun yesterday.
That was my mistake though.
Slowing all in and stuff. I mean,
I was really angry after that series.
I can imagine. It was something where, you seemed very happy with your openings in Zerg vs. Zerg with that gasless opening, very strong. You've been owning a lot of people recently with it. How do you feel about that slow Zergling all in?
Oh,
do you think it's how would you have reacted differently?
Even though I lost to it, and that doesn't make me better than it, but I don't think it's good at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, he killed both overlords, so it was like a strange situation, and he went for it. But then my queens also were out of position, so if they would have been at home, and I could have put them behind the minerals.
Yeah.
I think even then I can hold it, which kind of, in my opinion, shows it's really bad. Because it just really relied on my mistakes.
Stopped by such a simple solution, right?
But then I made the mistakes, so it worked, and that's the only thing that matters in the end, that you win the game. And so I'm to blame there, but I don't think it's something we're going to see like happening often.
Yeah, I don't think it'll dominate the meta either. But how do you feel about that when it comes to kind of strange timing attacks? People using them in tournaments, we see them a lot. And even though, especially foreign players, you'll hear the less experienced players say like, "Oh, it's such a dumb build," or "It's so bad." I appreciate hearing from you, saying, yes, I think I could stop it. I don't think it's great and it's going to take over the meta, but at the same time, it can work in that situation.
Yeah.
Do you think it's better in tournaments to do these strange aggressive plays when there's so much pressure on and, just one mistake can kind of cause the opponent to lose?
It depends a little bit. The great thing about playing a build like that, or cheese, or any kind of timing attack, that is much simpler to execute than a longer, macro-oriented, more complex game. So what you're doing is you're basically banking on, okay, I'm going to perform my build at 100% because it's quite easy to execute. And then if my opponent hits his more complex build only at 90%, I'm going to win, kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a gambit, but I think it works more under pressure in these situations.
Exactly. It's
people
more
are more
easy.
prone to making those mistakes. Yeah, I think that's something a lot of players don't take into account. So it's always interesting to hear that you've got this very clear understanding of what goes on in those situations. So you don't feel you played your best necessarily in some of these series. What do you think? What's your process after you lose a tournament? Do you go home, watch the replays? How do you process the loss, and how do you try and kind of cover up those flaws?
Actually, Robert, my coach, and friend, he was telling me that we need to start analyzing the games I lose at tournaments, because my games at tournaments often look different than in practice.
Yeah.
So we are probably most likely going to start doing that, and hopefully right after this tournament I'm going to get home and we're going to watch the replays together and analyze them more. But actually, because I have the SSD and the PC, I can actually grab it. Good. Yeah.
That's actually handy at this tournament. There's the SSD, so you can grab the replays very easily.
Yeah.
Whereas often at tournaments, you have to get out of the booth, and your replays are just abandoned if you don't quickly email them to yourselves.
So remind me to email them to myself, and then I need to take a look. But I haven't been as good as I should be at that yet, but I think about it a lot. Right after I lose, I usually start thinking about the games rather than trying to forget them. A lot of people, when they lose, they just want to forget the loss, I feel.
Yeah.
I try to avoid that.
You've kind of got to embrace, I guess, the pain of it a little bit and process it, because, I agree. When I was a lot less experienced, I would do the same thing. I just want to forget about this. Let's go, get drunk or whatever, and go home and just practice and try to obliterate them from your memory. But if you make the same mistakes the next tournament in a month or so, and that hurts twice as bad.
Yeah.
So definitely that kind of calm approach is very good. So Robert, he's obviously the kind of sports performance psychologist who's been helping out a few players. How often do you chat with Robert? Is he helping you out with your mindset a little bit, or just kind of helping you with kind of methods for improving better?
We probably talk like at least on a weekly basis. He helped me structure myself a little bit better.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit of a slow process because I'm just kind of still stuck in bad habits that almost every programmer is stuck in.
Yeah.
But yeah, he helped me organize myself better. I'm renaming replays more. I'm putting them in like proper folders and like we're trying to like look at I have another friend who wrote like a replay parser, and then we can enter certain factors that we want to filter through. So we
Is
can.
that Gowerly?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Gowerly.
okay, cool.